for newfound facts. I will record that, actually. I'm going to say that. This episode is brought to you by N for newfound facts. Newfound facts, Newfoundland facts. I hate that. I said it. Anyway, okay. Welcome back to another episode of By the Wayside. This happens on this episode, so don't go anywhere. It's a fun piece. That much I know. I'm going to put 1, 2, 1. Of course, I speak with playwright Irene Sankoff. That's all coming up on this episode. I just said that. Don't go anywhere. And that, of course, is the opening credits. I usually have like not credit cards like this. Like this. But because today's opening, I've got a whole bunch of information. I thought you would be more interested in seeing this cool notebook that I have. Because of today's guest, I decided to do a little bit more investigation into the east coast of Canada, specifically Newfoundland. So there are some sayings in Newfoundland that I didn't know of. So I literally went to a website called suitcaseandheels.com. That should pop up on the bottom. So there's something that they say in Newfoundland that pertains specifically to my guest today, and I didn't know this. So they use the term CFA. Now, CFA means come from away. Isn't that interesting? Now, to put that into context, you would say something like, so what CFA means, CFA, come from away, it means someone who isn't from Newfoundland. Okay, so that makes sense. So, of course, you would say something like, oh, the theater is filled with CFAs, or don't go to that restaurant because it's filled with CFAs, tourists to Newfoundland, all right? The word rotted means annoyed. I'm rotted, there's no hot chocolate. Mauzy, M-A-U-Z-Y, mauzy, it means damp and warm. So I think that just means muggy. It's a mauzy day here. That makes sense, right? Fausty, Fousty? I don't know what I wrote now. F-O-U-S-T-Y means musty or off-smelling. Just interesting different words that the people from Newfoundland use. A sleevine? I am butchering this, absolutely butchering this. It means a rascal. I don't even know. These could be swear words and I don't even know it. Or chummy, something you don't know the word for. So like a whatchamacallit or a who's it's, what's it's. A chummy. I thought that was kind of interesting. So here's something else. Food. I'm going to throw that paper over there so that no one has to deal with it. I found some Newfoundland facts, or not facts, sorry. I found some Newfoundland foods that I found that are very interesting because they exist on it's like a cultural, they're found in Newfoundland. I use the website diversityplus.com. That's where I found these. So if you want, you can head to that website, find out a bit more, because I have no clue what was happening with some of the things that I read on this website. So I'm going to tell you what they are, and a picture might show up, and maybe even a definition. Who knows? Who knows what happens? But because today's guest, Irene Sankoff, is the writer of Come From Away, I thought it was interesting that I look a little bit more into our brothers and sisters over at Newfoundland about the different world that it is, because here I'm based in Ontario. I record this show out of Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario. So you can tell there is a massive provincial difference between Ontario and Newfoundland. Do you know what a figgy duff is? For all intents and purposes, a figgy duff is a boiled raisin pudding. Doesn't sound appealing to me at all. Bake apples. I brought this up with someone recently. I said, do you know what a bake apple is? And they said, oh yeah, its name implies what it is. It's just a baked apple. No, that's incorrect. A bake apple, it's a berry. I wrote that. It's just a berry that they put on things. Like you can make a bake apple jam because the berry itself is called a bake apple. It's wild what's happening over in Newfoundland. A jig's dinner. Now I know that you've probably heard the jig's dinner come sort of pop up in some vernacular in some way, shape, or form. So a jig's dinner it has salt beef, turnip, cabbage, potato, and carrots. That's a jig's dinner. It's served, it has its own name. So it's like served on a Sunday. It's just a traditional Newfoundland dinner with its own title. Remember that, a jig's dinner. So this one, it might throw you off, but don't be alarmed. because we'll go over the name of it and the ingredients. It's called a flipper pie. So before I did a little bit more research into what a flipper pie was, I was like, oh, well, maybe it's sort of like this: you make a pie and you flip it, or it's a pie with different ingredients that you expect. So you've kind of flipped the idea onto your head. No, absolutely not. The name flipper pie is exactly what you think it is. It's a pie, like a pot pie, made of seal flippers. And that's it. These are the interesting things that I found about Newfoundland. And if you stick around for the end of the episode, there is one more fact that I will talk about. So that's the end of this segment. I just stopped talking about Newfoundland facts. And that's it. Dunzo. Stick around. We got lots more in this episode. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to be talking with Irene Sankoff right after this. Like I had promised, welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. Of course, I am your host, talk for a living, host Jordan Middlebrook. And with me today, and I double-checked to make sure that your title was correct, Canadian playwright Irene Sankoff, most notably known for the smash hit stage production Come From Away, is with me today at Wayside Comics and Cocktails in Newmarket, Ontario. Thank you very much, Irene, for coming in today, spending the time with me, taking time out of your busy schedule to be here with me.
It is my pleasure. Absolutely.
Awesome. I really appreciate it. I had asked you off camera if playwright was an accurate word to describe you.
Yep.
And you were like, I guess. What else would you use to describe yourself?
Oh my gosh. I guess, as you mentioned, Come From Away. So co-creator Come From Away. I also have an executive producer title on the Apple TV. I know, right? On the Apple TV version of Come From Away. I have not one, but 2 honorary doctorates. Go figure.
So can you be? So should I have changed this to?
No, please.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm going to say.
No, it's all good.
Let me start this again.
No.
Canadian playwright Dr. Irene Sankoff is with me today. Irene, thank you very much for coming in.
Oh, well, please don't ask me to restart your heart or anything, because that will go badly.
Well, as everyone who watches this show knows, that I have a heart problem, so I guess you're the worst kind of doctor to have on the show.
I really am, yes.
So thanks for coming in. No,
yes, totally.
So we mentioned Come From Away. Mm-hmm. Of course. Do you ever get tired of people talking to you about Come From Away?
No, because I'm so grateful for that show being out in the world. I'm so grateful that all of the opportunities that came for that show came when they did. And I am always hearing new stories about how Come From Away has changed people's lives. Yeah, and how people of Newfoundland and the people who landed there, how the way they got along with one another has just changed people's lives for the better.
Well, in today's insane political climate, it's always nice to know and be reminded that the greatest people on the planet are Canadians, the most polite, the most resilient, the most welcoming. So you take this play and it reminds people, because it's on the international stage.
Yeah.
And it is very much Canadian. I would say Canadian icon, playwright, Dr. Irene Sankoff is with me today. Thank you very much for joining me. It's an important part of Canada's legacy, Come From Away. Would you agree with that statement? As the co-creator of Come From Away, would you agree with that statement?
I can agree with that statement only because they're the ones who did it, the people on the ground in Newfoundland. And I am just the messenger.
That's fair.
Along with my husband, of the amazing thing that happened there.
What was the Greek Hermes? The Greek messenger, the Greek god messenger, Hermes? Mercury?
Is this a test?
Yeah, I'm not. This episode isn't being recorded. I'm proctoring your next doctorate.
Shoot.
So you would be okay. So you would be the equivalent of Hermes for the people of Gander.
Okay.
In the play Come From Away.
Sure, that's better than the guy who got burned by the sun. So I'll take it.
Icarus.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The wings. Yeah, got it.
Funny enough, that conversation came up in my home about Icarus just recently. That's interesting. It's how this world is coming together. Thanks for coming. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, out. Yeah.
I have get out of here.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever asked you to take another significant Canadian moment and put it on stage?
Not as much as I wish that they would. Like we get a lot of this happened. It sounds just like Come From Away. This happens, and it's great. please keep having moments that are just like what happened in Come From Away.
Yeah.
But we wrote that, so someone else should write the next one.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, but that doesn't mean that there's not a million other Canadian stories that are big events or small events that shouldn't be put on the Canadian stage and stages all over the world.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the success of Come From Away, starting out in this, in Toronto and then working out internationally, there are a lot of stories to tell, as you just so succinctly put, that it's my grandmother, my grandmother was a part of this during this specific war. It's like, well, why don't you write that play?
Yeah.
I like that. And I guess having someone who would support, I'm not saying they're going to email you or call you and just like, hey, I got this really great idea, Irene. Dr. Irene Sankoff, would you be interested in writing this story? But no, I get that. There's a lot of stories out there.
There's a lot.
And it's, I think it's encouraging for someone like you to say like, hey, get your typewriter out, write your story, and let's see where it goes.
I'm not trained as a playwright. That's the one thing I'm not trained to do. So,
well, let's be quite honest. I'm not trained to do this. So
this is beautiful.
Literally, this is where we are right now.
Yeah.
I'm not a doctor. I'm working on it though.
Okay.
As a playwright,
yes.
Not as a doctor in this instance. As a playwright, do you make up music and scenarios while you do mundane tasks?
Yes. Yes. And my daughter, God bless her, is like, you need to stop.
Is it one of those Snow White moments where you're, I don't know, mowing the lawn, you're pushing the lawnmower, and you're just like, ha, 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 and then you stand there and you just kind of wait like this, and then your daughter's like, Mom, what are you doing? You're like, waiting for the birds. Is it that kind of moment, or is it more of in your head humming out loud, or you're very, very vocal about taking those mundane tasks and making them more choreographed or more musical?
It's more like hi ho, like off to work we go. Like it's more to just make, or happy working songs.
Yeah, okay.
From Entangled, to try and just make everyday tasks a little more magical.
That's fair. In my home, there's typically a radio in every single room.
Love that.
Whatever is playing is the song that I am like sweeping or doing the dishes or fluffing the millions of pillows that my wife puts on the couch. It's very one of those, yes. If Pitbull's playing in the background, sure, I'll listen to Fireball while I'm, picking up this clump of cat hair. I don't know. It's just one of those weird things. Music really does make the world go round, because what is that? What's the saying? It calms the beast. What's the saying? Music.
It's savage. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's going to be the rest of it.
The rest of the segment is trying to figure that out. Yeah, soothe. Yeah.
Soothes the savage beast. Calms the tames.
I don't know.
On this show, usually what pops up along the bottom is what I like to call a wayside fact. So while we're doing this, I'll go online somewhere and I'll do my search engine and be like, what is the actual word? So we'll get there, Irene. Dr. Irene Sankoff.
Yes, they'll take away my doctor of letters because I can't come up with
letters. We take away one letter, so it's D. D. Irene Sankoff.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Back to the internationalness of Come From Away and you yourself. You've been all over the world, of course. Mm-hmm. Have you ever encountered another heartwarming or incredible story, much like the story from Come From Away, that pertains directly to that event and that place in time during 9/11? Have you ever come across something like that?
Yeah, and if I can be like self-referential for a second, I actually just found out very recently that the woman who mentored me, I just found this out because she's working in Paris now, as one does, and she told me that she was actually meant to go to work at Cantor Fitzgerald. Her longer story, but she almost was working for that company and decided to go against her parents' wishes and stay in theater. And fast forward all those years later, and she did not want to read Come From Away when it came across her desk because she was like, wow, obviously.
Yeah.
But then she did, and she ended up being the person who got us into the North American Musical Theater Festival. Her name's Donna Harrell, by the way.
Okay.
And she is the one who gave the script to Christopher Ashley, who later got a Tony for his work on that. And I had no idea. I just sat there over souffle in Paris with my jaw dropped because I've known her now for over 10 years, and she's been an incredible friend and mentor, and I did not know that story.
What a crazy connection.
Crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah.
This is By the Wayside, and we'll be right back.
I am not known for my goings to and knowledge of stage productions.
Fair.
If you want to talk about one of my top 5 favorite movies is Wizard of Oz. The movie specifically.
Yes.
I really love the book, but the movie specifically. I love musicals, movie musicals.
Who doesn't? Don't answer that.
It's another wayside fact. This is the amount of people that do not like musicals.
Yes.
But it took me a long time to appreciate musicals. In my late teens to sort of early 20s, I was like, well, I don't get it. Get it. But now as I've gotten older and all that, I realized that no, it's just fun. It's just fun stuff. I'm going to ask you 2 questions.
Okay.
You're not trained as a playwright.
Yep.
What's your favorite play?
What's my favorite play?
Yeah.
So I just saw something called The Hills of California. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I'm obsessed with it right now. I'm obsessed with its structure and the way it was directed and its story. What else do I love?
What about a movie?
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite musical?
Sure.
Just throw that in.
No. Favorite movie musical? Listen, I would be remiss to say that they didn't do an amazing job on Wicked.
Okay.
Speaking of Wizard of Oz, you know what? Maybe I'd have to say Guys and Dolls, because that's what got me to love musical theater. Singing in the Rain is so good.
I guess the list could be endless, right?
Yeah.
Well, there is something to be said for the originality and the heart that goes into the original work, like your Come From Away. When you're putting together a story like that, how much of your heart and your experiences do you put into it?
Oh my gosh.
I did not prepare you for that question.
No, that's fine. I would say it's all there. It's like the blood, sweat, tears, other gross things, heart juice. I don't know.
Heart juice. That's blood.
That's blood. Yeah, I tried. But yeah, no, it's all there. Like, especially like when you don't know where it's going. Like when we started writing it, we had no idea. I mean, I thought no one in America would ever watch it, honestly, because we had been in Manhattan on 9/11 and we saw what happened and we saw the way people reacted. And I was like, well, this is clearly just a Canadian story and we can all be proud of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one that needed to be told. So like, it's all in there. There's a scene in a bar that actually like happened to us. Well, this is a thing. Everything that's happened in the musical actually happened. Yes. Whether it was to the people that we assigned it to, or whether it's amalgamations. That's the right word.
When you combine 2 people into one character.
It just sounded really weird for a second. Amalgamation. Okay, that's fine. Amalgamations. Amalgams.
Okay. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
So that you essentially, you take these real life people and you become them, so that you can project their story, project their words. So essentially, the play is you.
That's getting real deep.
I know it is. We don't typically get deep here.
Okay.
You're also the first playwright to be on the show, so I think it's important that when a first timer is on the show, we really pick their brain.
Okay. I
think it's really important. I'm not going to do that. That's just too deep. We like to have lots of fun. Irene.
Yes. Okay.
Don't go anywhere.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Because it's kind of upsetting that I got a little too deep. I don't want to put you on the spot. And the best part is that this is my show. And I can do whatever I want.
Oh, I love that.
So I just... Okay. 1, 2, 1. It's the Rockettes, right?
Yes.
Would you consider the Rockettes to be a stage production? It's not necessarily a play. But when you look at something like a chorus line or a dance line, would you take just a choreographed dance scene and would you consider that to be a play, not necessarily a stage production?
Yep. It depends. I mean, the Rockettes, when they're all getting on the double-decker bus and they're going through Manhattan, that's a little play.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
Fair.
Oh, and when the Tin Soldiers, oh my God, I'm a little bit of a nerd. I'm my own kind of nerd. When the Tin Soldiers all fall down, man, holy shit, you're just wondering, can that one tiny girl hold 75 other tiny girls?
So I guess you're right. In every dance number, there's always a story, and in every story on stage is technically a stage production.
And we all have our own stories, just like walking down the street, going to the mailbox. Like if someone were to listen what was going on in our head, there's a lot happening. You can have a 3-act play, just like going to get Starbucks.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Irene, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to come to Wayside Comics and Cocktails and speaking with me on the show By the Wayside. I want your success to continue, even though you're internationally renowned, you're internationally loved.
Oh, you're lovely.
And a Canadian icon, Dr. Irene Sankoff. Thank you very much for coming in today. I can't thank you enough.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Don't go anywhere. We've got lots left in this episode. Sing us out, chorus line. No, I don't have a chorus line.
You could, though.
One day.
That's what Spotify is for.
Did not plan this ahead of time.
There are two things in this world, death and taxes. The podcast definitely talks about death.
How many times can I use the word definitely and definitely? Welcome back to this episode of By the Wayside. We all know what happens after I speak with a guest. Everyone's favorite segment. It's called Omar Recommends. And Omar is, hold on, let me see. He's back there. Omar, do you have something to recommend today?
I always have something to recommend.
If you didn't, then we would just call it.
Jordan sits here and ponders.
I would sit here for 6 minutes and just like stare at the camera. And,
Hi, everybody. How's it going?
this is Omar, everybody. I'm just double checking his mic.
I'm Omar.
Green,
This is Jordan.
green light is on. We're
And
good.
we're green. We're good to go.
We're green. We
And
are.
since we're green and we're good to go, I'm just going to jump right into it.
I love it. Let's do it.
All right. So today we are recommending a new book, Zatanna Bring Down the House by Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez. So I am an unabashed Zatanna fan. Like, I love this character, but there's great stories for Zatanna out there, but there's not I don't know. There's not too many like amazing stories, I feel, at least, that I can like just give to somebody and like jump in on this character. This is a great jumping on point, or you got to check this out. Usually it's always part of a bigger thing, or like the user for Justice League Dark and things like that. But this is a fantastic book. In my opinion, this is a modern classic. And it's a great origin story for the character. It exists out of continuity, but those are kind of the best stories. I think Mariko Tamaki and Javier Rodriguez are doing some of the best work in their careers with this book. But yeah, I'll break it down really quick. So essentially, it's about Zatanna, she has her history is rooted in magic, and she can touch into magic. Her dad is a very famous magician. And something happens when she's very young that makes her not want to use magic. And she's in Vegas putting on a show, but she doesn't want to tap into like really big real magic. And her past kind of comes back, and she has to kind of find that inner self and re-explore her magical nature and what happened in her past, and face her future and her family and what it means to have access to this power. And in that sense, it's a wonderful coming of age story with great themes. Again, the artwork in this book is sublime. The writing is really good, but they just really define Zatanna as a character and how she pushes forward and how she is ready to face, like she builds that up to face her lineage and her destiny and like what that actually means. It's about carrying that weight and what it means to carry that weight.
It's almost like with great power comes great responsibility.
100%. A little bit of that, but again, when you have, I think, more power and you have access to all of these things, and you can open gateways to other worlds and, create fire and summon demons and do all these things. That's a lot for,
that's a
for
lot of
anybody.
power.
Yeah, it's a lot of power. And again, she had her dad to look at, and it's not like she's just jumping in with these powers. Like, she's seen her father and seen what it can do, and she's touched it, she's tasted it, and I think she has that fear of it. And it's a lot of the book is about overcoming fear.
Oh, good.
And
there's a sort of a underlying message to the whole thing.
100%. I don't want to get too much in it because there's a lot of great reveals in this book in terms of like the story itself. It really is a great character piece, and it's about a person's journey into accepting who they are. And I think that's something anybody can relate to, and not just accepting it, but embracing it and using it to grow as a human being and launch that next stage of their lives. I know there's a lot of people who maybe repress parts of themselves or don't like something. I grew up, I'm half South American, and sometimes I remember growing up, especially like in Mexico, Canada, different places, you'd see other people and you'd be like, why don't I get that? Why don't I have this? Or why don't I have that? Everyone I could never find like my name on like one of those little keychains when I was traveling, sort of thing. And like, you want to be like other people, but there is that beauty in being unique and all the things that you have that other people don't. And that's what makes you a unique part of this world. And there's nobody else like you out there. And I think a book like this really emphasizes that and encourages people to really think like that. And it's all framed around this really cool story with lots of magic and excitement, things like that. But at its core value, I think a lot of it's about identity.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Couldn't have asked for a better recommend, Omar. Thank you very much.
It's fantastic. Like I said, I think this is a modern classic. If you've ever been interested in the character of Zatanna, a phenomenal entry point. Doesn't really exist within continuity, but still, again, the character is there, fleshed out. And these are two creators who have really just outdone themselves with what they're doing here and presenting some of the best work in their careers to this point.
Awesome. Omar, typically at the end of every segment, you get the opportunity to say,
and we will catch you guys by the wayside on the next one.
And stick around. We got lots more in this episode. Don't go anywhere.
And don't forget, this episode is brought to you by the letter N. For new this week, or new last week, but still, new books are good books.
Stop.
No.
Stop.
No. The letter N. It's powerful. Like Zatanna.
Oh my.
Z. Sideways N.
Oh, stop. Stop.
I think I hurt Jordan. You'll never look at the letter Z the same way again. Anyway, I'm out. Like magic.
And of course, that's an entire episode of By the Wayside. I just had this really sneaky suspicion that record wasn't pressed on my recording device. Now I have to check. Yes, I pressed record. I want to thank my guest, Irene Sankoff, of course. Omar walking around in the background. I have a sneaky suspicion he was going to pop up and say something while I was recording, but not today, man. Not today. We had your segment. You get your own segment. I get everything else. I want to thank my guest, Irene Sankoff, of course. I want to thank Omar, of course, for doing his segment, which is everyone's favorite segment here on By the Wayside. By the Wayside. I had said at the beginning of the episode that there was one more Newfoundland fact that I had to tell you, and I'm glad there is one more fact that I will talk about. We will get to that. Tell you, and I'm glad that you stuck around, because there has been an often debate about whether its pronunciation is Newfoundland or Newfoundland. So when I say Newfoundland, it's L-A-N-D, or Newfoundland, L-U-N-D. Here's a simple way for you to remember. Use this rhyme. Understand Newfoundland. Simple. An easy way to remember how to pronounce the last section of the province, Newfoundland. We did it, folks. We did it. We did an entire episode where I gave you facts. We talked to a playwright. We talked about comic books. We got to see Omar. If you're ever in the neighborhood of Newmarket, Ontario, I recommend that you head over here to Wayside Comics and Cocktails. Get yourself a hot chocolate, because it's my favorite drink here. I'm going to put this aside. And while I talk to you about the social media stuff that you can follow this show on, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I think TikTok comes up here. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember. I edit the whole show. I just can't remember. I just wanted to bring to your attention this really cool coaster that an artist did here at Wayside Comics and Cocktails. It's a unicorn, and it is also Nick Fury. So it's a Unifury, or it is a Nickorn. Not 100% sure. It's a fun piece. That much I know. I'm going to put that here. Maybe we'll zoom in as we end the show today. Everyone got all the social medias down? Awesome. If you want to be a guest, of course, you can reach out, waysideshow@gmail.com. Be a guest on the show. We'll have lots of fun. As I lean back, I realize the mic is not picking up my voice. So I might have done that because I did that. Anyway, thank you very much. I am looking forward to speaking to you on the next episode, and I'll catch you by the wayside.